Each week, the PBA bowlers tackle a different animal named oil pattern intended to challenge the best bowlers in the world. Omaha gave us the Viper, where we witnessed Brad Angelo strike for his first career title. In Michigan, the chameleon pattern emerged, only this time Mike Machuga had no problem spotting the pocket. Last week, the PBAers were challenged by the Scorpion, but the big nasty Wes Malott was the pest that stung the competition. This week, the Cheetah will attack. Who will finish as the big cat? The Cheetah Championship is next.
Wonderful afternoon to be inside in Buffalo. Snow, wind, cold, great conditions though here in Cheektowaga, and we welcome you to Jimmy V Week on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation for cancer research in tribute to Jim Valvano and his dream to defeat cancer. This week, for the 29th time in PBA history, the best in bowling have converged in Buffalo. Today, from the AMF Thruway Lanes in Cheektowaga, New York, the Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour presents the Cheetah Championship. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson here with you today, and today's broadcast shaping up a lot like one we had at a similar time last year in South Carolina. It was an all-lefty showcase, almost the same case today. Mike Scroggins, Parker Bohn III, Patrick Allen, all on this telecast as well. But we begin, Randy, with really the main story of this week. Local boy makes good Jack Jurek.
Well, there's no question who the crowd favorite's going to be today. It's Jack Jurek. And Rob, he told us the other night he's been trying to win this tournament for the last 22 years. But in order for him to do that, he'll have to defeat the first of three southpaws. The party of Scroggies is back. Can Jack Jurek be the party crasher?
Your number 2 seed, Patrick Allen, the southpaw, makes his first TV show of the season as he hunts for his 11th career title. And the last time Parker Bohn III won was that all-lefty show in Spartanburg, South Carolina last year. Today, the 24-year vet looks for a career title, 32, fifth most in PBA history. We take a look now at our men's field on the Stepladder bracket. Jurek versus Scroggins will begin the men's side, but we begin for the first time with the Women's Series Championship presented by the United States Bowling Congress. Number 2 seed, Stefanie Nation, duels her idol, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard.
And Stefanie Nation has already won this season, taking the inaugural PBA Women's Series Showdown event this season, that in Omaha back in November. She defeated Michelle Feldman. Michelle Feldman not making the show for the first time this season. Apparently, nobody told her there was an event this week. She has been absolutely steamrolling through the competition. A little light in the pocket there. An all-righty showdown on the female side. Just one righty on the male side. And again, the men's competition will come up right after this women's title match. Jack Jurek versus Mike Scroggins.
Heard a little double dribble on that first shot, Rob, and that'll take a little bit of the hook off, and no harm done. First frame spare for Stefanie Nation, and a tall order for her today because she's taking on her idol in Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. Carolyn tour tested, 20 tour wins on the women's tour. She knows what it takes to win on television.
Get out, baby. Perfect.
Gets it!
Come on.
Looked a little high on initial impact, but Ballard gets all 10 to drop as we take a look at the big picture of our matchup, and it is really one for the ages in the sense of youth versus elder statesmen. And Stefanie Nation has said from the get-go when we were talking with her, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard is my idol, period. And Carolyn saying, you know, I've really kind of taken Stefanie under my wing, both on and off the lanes as well.
Hit it. Got quick.
The two big numbers on that graphic that stood out to me, Rob, was that Carolyn Dorin-Ballard averaged 230 in match play, Stefanie Nation only 214. It's a big difference. 16 pins a game is a lot over the course of a tournament. Right now, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard looking to go cross alley to convert the 10-pin.
And both ladies like the fact that the women are starting off our broadcast and not bowling after the men. We'll talk about that in a second. So Ballard goes strike, spare, and both of them feel that this gives them more of an honest chance and an honest look at the lanes.
Well, it's tough after the guys, go out there with the weapons that they use and the high rev rates, and they really destroy an oil pattern in just a matter of a couple of games. And the women get on with, not as the rev rates are lower. They can't hook as much as the guys, and it's tough for them to bowl on that existing pattern. But now you take the women now and you put them right around first, second arrow, and they keep the ball in play and online. Now they can bowl some scores. Did you see the four-step approach of Stefanie Nation? Great knee bend, keeps her eyes on her target, great follow-through. And I think that this oil pattern is tailor-made for her because she likes to throw the ball fast.
Now, we mentioned a heavy lefty show on the men's side, the lone righty, Jack Jurek, and these two women bowl in a similar fashion, in a similar place on the lanes for him, so he's not too bothered by what they're going to do to break down his lanes as he's waiting in the wings to take on Mike Scroggins.
Not only is he not bothered, he's kind of excited about it because he thinks that he's going to play just to the inside of where the women are playing, and he says all they're going to do is help my shot. 6-3 match play record, and lost to Carolyn in position round.
We asked Stefanie about bowling against Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, and she said, it was instant admiration for me. She's fiery like I am. She's definitely taken me under her wing, looking out for my best intentions, and she's going to have to try her best not to think about who she's bowling against, just bowl her game. Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, this is an important day in her life and in her household. Pearl Harbor Day today. Her dad was a POW in World War II for 9 months, buried in Arlington Cemetery, late George Dorin. And she said growing up, their answering machine always said, nobody's home, and always remember Pearl Harbor Day. Those are the kind of shots that Carolyn has been seeing for a majority of this season. She gave us a term to describe the season. We're going to avoid using it here, but she said, look, I've been a bad bowler, have not performed well this year, struggling to bowl, but she's made some adjustments. And her husband, Del Ballard Jr., soon to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, a big part of that. Del is here as well to watch his wife roll. And here is Carolyn on the tough start to a season and how she has adjusted.
Well, I did start off very slow, was not bowling well, so after Detroit, Del, my husband, looked at me and said, not working, we got to make a few changes. So we went home, made my timing a little bit later. I've worked on some new hand positions to try to get my ball to go through the pins a little bit harder. Lane conditions are a little tougher out here this year, so if I'm going to compete, I got to keep practicing, and that's what I did. That's a good one.
Drop and give me 10.
Okay.
There's her husband with the sign to their daughter, Alyssa. Del Ballard Jr. watching his wife, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, have a lead early on. Our continuing coverage of the Women's Championship here in Cheektowaga when we return to Greater Buffalo.
The Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour on ESPN is brought to you by the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us. By Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. By Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA. And by Denny's, where America's favorite breakfast is now available to go. Real breakfast 24/7.
We welcome you back to Cheektowaga. There's your #1 seed, Patrick Bohn III, getting loose. And the men's side of this bracket set to take to the lanes in the second as we update you on what's happening here in the Women's Cheetah Championship. We left you as Stefanie Nation began in the fourth. She went 9 spare, 9 spare. Carolyn Dorin-Ballard did the same in the fifth. And we begin the sixth right now with Carolyn Dorin-Ballard down 1. Leaves the bucket.
Yeah, and Rob, the issue right now for both women is that they, with the exception of this shot here, they're getting to the pocket. They're just not carrying the corner pins. And this shot here, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard gets a little fast and leaves the 2-4-5-8.
Takes care of the bucket. And time now for the Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood. And this, the Cheetah oil pattern we're all rolling on this week.
This week's Cheetah pattern is 36 feet in length. Look for the women and the right-handers to play pretty straight in between the first and second arrow. All 3 southpaws, they're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side of the lane. This week, the middle part of the lane was out of play.
36 feet is the length of this oil pattern. Three 300 games rolled this week. Usually it's a fairly high-paced scoring pattern. It's been fairly true to form this week.
Well, with the adjustments
get it off your hand.
that the tour has made to all of the oil patterns this season, the scoring pace has come down a lot from last season as Stefanie Nation trips the 4-pin in the 6th frame to maintain a 5-pin lead. But Rob, I got to tell you, this pattern played completely different than the Cheetah pattern normally plays. Generally speaking, the outside parts on both left and right of the lane are extremely dry, and I mean, you just want to try to throw the bowling ball towards the channels. But this week was not the case. You could not do that. There was not a lot of friction outside first arrow. So the players had to try to play fairly straight in between first and second arrow on both sides of the lane.
Nation picks up the spare in the 7th. So it's been a clean game thus far for both competitors. Both Nation and Carolyn Dorin-Ballard with 2 strikes. And here's Carolyn down 5 to begin her 7th.
Kid.
And right now, Carolyn is kind of stuck in the in-between, a little bit to the right. Her bowling ball hangs. She gets it going up the lane just a pinch, and she goes a little high, leaving the 4-pin. So she is now trying to figure out how to fine-tune it to get it to face the 1-3 pocket consistently.
She's been perfect on single-pin spare conversions this week. Looking to go 26 for 26. And she does.
I like it.
And the winners of all 6 singles women's series events will participate in the PBA Women's Series Showdown in a season-ending broadcast on ESPN, sponsored by the USBC. And Carolyn Dorin-Ballard in already because Stefanie Nation has already won. Michelle Feldman won the 2nd and 3rd events. That's why you saw Missy Bellander, the runner-up last week, also moving down to the Women's Series Showdown. And there's the strike for Carolyn, a much-needed one at this juncture.
Yeah, and that's a good time for it in the 8th frame, setting up the 9th and 10th. You know, this is Stefanie Nation's game here to win or lose, because if she strikes out, it doesn't matter what Carolyn Dorin-Ballard does.
I don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much, Randy, but you know, you and I, last time we had Stefanie Nation on television, we were promoting the fact that she's looking for a job at the USBC in Arlington. She got it, production assistant, but we're not done there yet. Nation gets them all to drop in the 8th. She has worked 2 days so far, then had to ask for time off to come up here and bowl. But her job is a full-time gig. So I mean, we've done the heavy leg work, the lifting for her, getting her that part-time gig.
And that's a great shot there, and sets up again the 9th and 10th for her as well. She can strike out now for 228. The best Carolyn Dorin-Ballard can shoot is 222. Big shot right here, 9th frame. Still looking for our first double of the match.
And she gets her second strike on that left frame, 4th overall.
Come on. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter how. Come on.
Well, there's an old saying in bowling, Rob, it's not how, it's how many. And she's going to take this one, as would anybody else. That's a big-time double, setting up the 10th frame for her. Carolyn Dorin-Ballard now in a must-strike situation, 9th frame, trailing by 16.
Gets it!
Come on!
I'm not sure she had all the faith in that one. The body language wasn't saying all 10 are dropping. There's her husband, Del Ballard Jr., watching, and that is a gutty strike from Carolyn.
Well, and this is very similar to Stefanie's strike. It's going to come in light, catch the wall shot, and again, at this point, we're just going to take all 10 any way that she can get it.
Her first back-to-back set of strikes to match Nation in the 8th and the 9th. We move on to the 10th.
Come on, first one.
Looks nice.
Yeah! Come on!
That's tour experience for you right there, Rob. Tour tested, 20 PWBA titles, and her experience is starting to shine.
She's won 3 major titles, had a high of 289 this week. And again, the season has been really rough for Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. A 14th place finish, then a 10th. Last week, though, 3rd. You could see the improvement coming. Today, she'll do no worse than 2nd. Again, she can max out at 222. She gets 2 more strikes to put the pressure on the younger Stefanie Nation, who could max out at 228. Never found the pocket.
And that was, in my opinion, the residue of the changes that she's been making. She gets extremely fast on this shot and just loses it at the bottom of the swing. That ball comes in light, leaving the 1-2-4-10.
Catch it.
Great pickup.
Rob, that's huge because that spare there forces Stefanie Nation to get the first strike to win. Anything less, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard wins. If Carolyn would have missed that, say she gets 9 out, we could have had a tie with a 9 spare strike from Stefanie Nation. Huge, huge conversion. Now Stefanie Nation must strike. If she gets 9, she'll lose by 1.
10-pin denies her. And Dorin-Ballard, after a rough start to the season, will get the title.
Rob, it looks like she just thumbed that one down just a little bit, which caused it to hit flat. The ball was on line, just didn't have enough hand in it.
And an emotional Carolyn Dorin-Ballard. Oh, those eyes tell it all.
Thanks, Dad.
You heard Carolyn saying thanks, Dad. Again, her father, George Dorin, was a POW, World War II, and Pearl Harbor Day, one of the most important days in her household growing up. As her husband, Del Ballard Jr.
Thanks, Dad. Hey to all the vets today. Thank you.
Wonderful win.
And Alyssa, this one's for you.
Nation finishes out. Carolyn Dorin-Ballard gets her first win on this season. An emotional day for her. One title has been handed out.
Thanks, Dad. You're watching me today.
Another
Pearl Harbor Day, baby.
to come. Local product, Jack Jurek, the number 4 seed on the men's bracket. Set to take on 3 seed Mike Scroggins, Patrick Allen, and then another lefty, Parker Bohn III. We'll wait for that winner. Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, the winner. The men's are next.
Yes, we know we're alive. And we can wonder why. We know we're not perfect. And we can laugh at our mistakes. When life overwhelms us, we can cry. And we can move mountains. If we only try.
The V Foundation proudly awards 100% of all donations and net proceeds of events directly to fund essential cancer research and related programs. A wonderful program that ESPN continues to sponsor. We are back here in Cheektowaga. This is the 20th tournament event held here at AMF Thruway Lanes. And speaking of history, time now for our latest update on the top 50 bowlers in PBA history. At number 14, Ritger, 20 career wins, finished second in 4 majors, and inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1978. Behind him, Brian Voss, 24 career victories, 1 major, Player of the Year in '88, ranks 5th all-time in career earnings.
And at number 12, who can forget the great Billy Hardwick, the greatest full roller in the history of the sport, with 18 wins in 3 majors, and one of only 5 players to win the Triple Crown. At number 11, the great Don Carter, winner of 5 majors, inducted into the Hall in '75. I've had the honor of personally knowing Don, his wife Paula, and son Jimmy. Don Carter, not only a great person, but a great ambassador to the sport of bowling. And Parker Bohn III, 5th all-time in titles, 2-time Player of the Year. He's bowled 300 on television, a 4-time winner of the Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award, and a Hall of Famer in 2000.
At number 9, the fiery right-hander Marshall Holman twice won the Tournament of Champions and the U.S. Open, and was inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame in 1990 in his first year of eligibility. Now here's Bo Burton with more on Don Carter, who won 7 titles and 5 majors.
Just outside the top 10 and spot 11 is the great Don Carter. The PBA charter member won 7 PBA titles, but a good deal of Carter's bowling prime came before the PBA was formed. He won the BPAA All-Star event a record-tying 4 times in the 1950s. After the PBA was formed, he had major titles in the 1961 Masters and the 1960 PBA National Championship. He was inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame as part of its inaugural class in 1975.
Talk about Don Carter's 5 majors. How about Norm Duke looking for 4 straight majors? Will that happen? You'll find out with us. The Tournament of Champions in Las Vegas, Sunday, January 25th, 12:30 Eastern, as Norm looks for 4 in a row. And time now for the men's bracket to fire it up. Cheetah Championship bracket as we begin the men's side of bowling. Jack Jurek, the local product, set to take on the lefty, Mike Scroggins. No bowler from Western New York has ever won here in Western New York, and Jack Jurek with that opportunity.
Well, it's probably hard to really put into words, but ever since I was a kid, I mean, by the time I was 12 years old, I wanted to be a pro, and what better place could you imagine bowling at home and winning a title in your hometown? It's obviously a dream. It'd be a dream come true, and just being here is, after 23 years of trying, it's a great moment, and I'm just going to try and see if I can finish off the dream now.
He grew up in Lackawanna, New York, about 15 minutes south from here. Now resides in Lancaster. He had about a 10-minute drive this week to get to the bowling center. Nice, easy commuting for the local product, Jack Jurek, who's had a big following here all week long. That's how you start it off, Jack.
If you don't like bowling, you don't know Jack. That boy there is on cloud nine this week.
Different than anything else I've done.
And here's the first of 3 lefties on the show. Mike Scroggins, your number 3 seed from Amarillo, Texas. This is his 3rd televised event of the season. Take that, Jack.
And the thing to watch for Mike Scroggins today is whether or not he figures out a way to have a decent ball reaction. The last few times on television, very lousy ball reaction. His scores reflected that. When we talked to him, Robbie said, yeah, man, he says, you know, the last few times out, I couldn't figure out a way to get my ball to look at the lane the right way.
The ball reaction has been absent under the lights. But he made it clear it's not a mental thing.
Hard to bowl on television or any part of the tournament with a bad ball reaction.
So Jurek, your 4 seed, taking on Mike Scroggins, your 3 seed. Your high games for the 2 of them this week, just about even, 259 and 258 for Scroggins. Jurek in the 2nd. Oh boy.
You know, on the graphic, he showed that Jack Jurek went 14-4 in match play, and the reason why he's on the telecast today is he went from 15th to 4th and won his first 8 matches the last 9 games of match play.
Trying to take down the big 4 right now.
Rest of the way a little bit easier.
That split there, Rob's only been made once in the history of television, and that was by Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Again, the hometown crowd in his favor, and you know, initially you think, wow, what a great thing, but as Del Ballard Jr. told Jack earlier this week, he said this is going to be your best show, and it's also going to be the toughest show of your life.
A lot of pressure bowling in front of the home crowd. When he's locked and loaded on the left lane. Jack Jurek playing a line similar to where the women played, except a little bit more revolutions, a little bit more side roll, and his ball faces the 1-3 nicely on that shot.
Here's Scroggins looking for 3 in a row to open up. Yeah. 3-bagger for Scroggins. This has been a very good season for him. Kind of one of those under-the-radar deals. You know, he came in at the beginning of the season. We've seen him several times. You know, my goals, hey, I want to be exempt. Check, he's pretty much there. I want to make a show. Check, he's done 3. Next goal for him, win a title. And now he's kind of upped the goals with this great start, saying, I want to win a major as well.
Well, Rob, in that strike that he just threw there in the 3rd frame was always like that frame where he got a little fast and threw a bad shot, maybe left the washout or the 3-7-9. He got that a little wide, and it really peeled off the spot.
Hambo! That's how you start a match, with the ham bone. Show me your signs, Buffalo. Nice use of Christmas colors. So Scroggins doing his part to take the crowd out of it. Jack Jurek has to step up and get him back on his side. 2 strikes in his opening 3 frames. Gets him! Both these bowlers bowled collegiately together at West Texas State University, as did Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, who won earlier today. A lot of Buffaloes in Buffalo today. That's the nickname of West Texas State University, now West Texas A&M.
We asked Mike Scroggins who the best bowler on the team was at that time. He said, that man right there, Jack Jurek.
Our captain and our leader. Whoa. That one just kind of thudded out.
Well, I think Jack kind of liked that shot off his hand, and it just doesn't hold the line and goes right through the nose. And right now, he's probably second-guessing the equipment choice of the right ball. Did I pick the right ball all of a sudden now? If I miss a little bit left or right, it's not doing what it's supposed to do.
Yikes.
Yeah, and that's a real tough lead, Rob, because the only way that you can convert it is by trying to do what Jack just did there.
Build up for this.
And the problem is if you get it wide of the 3-pin, you lose all count. And that's exactly what happened to Jack. Big hole right now. 5th frame, Mike Scroggins, perfect through 4.
Looking to open up with 5 straight strikes with Scroggins. Yahtzee!
And right now, Mike Scroggins just opened up a can, if you know what I mean.
I'm not sure it's a can. It might be more like a keg, a barrel.
Every time his ball has touched the 1-2 pocket, that's been the end result. Mike Scroggins has a good ball reaction. All he has to do now is manage his game and his mental concentration.
6th best average this season, 225.58 for Scroggins.
Carry.
A 7-pin shy of a 6-pack to open up. What a wonderful start, though, from Mike Scroggins.
And you were just hoping and praying for this to strike, Rob, so you could kind of make the connection with Party at Scroggy, 6-pack, you know.
All kinds of great tie-ins. Takes care of the single pin conversion on the 7. That was something that was a bit of an issue last year in the beginning of the season. Not so much anymore. Scroggins with an early lead. Jack Jurek, the local product, is going to have to scramble in the back half of this one. Does he have enough to do it? Find out with us when we return to Cheektowaga. For the 4th consecutive season, the PBA has stopped here in Buffalo. We are at AMF Thruway Lanes here in Cheektowaga, New York. Good-looking crowd here for the Cheetah Championship. Jack Jurek, the hometown boy, in a big old hole versus the lefty Mike Scroggins. Take a look at our Denny's PBA Player of the Year list. Norm Duke still on top. Wes Malott just 2 points behind, and there's Mike Scroggins. You know, everything about Mike Scroggins seems underrated, under the radar. This is a really good bowler who's a wonderful human being as well. Jurek down 62 in the 6th. There you go, Jack. He started 15th with 9 to go on Friday, proceeded to win 8 matches to move up into 4th. So he knows about pressure bowling this week.
Classic style for the 45-year-old who has not won since 1995.
March 25th.
Windsor Locks, Connecticut beat Dave Traber.
145 events he's bowled since then without a title. That one very high and heavy. His goals,
just a bad read on my part.
He said for the season, I want to win title number 2 because I don't want to be that one-hit wonder who won just one title. I want to say, you know what? There's more to my game than just that one really good weekend in Windsor Locks.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be remembered as Air Supply. I mean, this guy wants to have more
Air
than
Supply
one.
had more than one hit, my friend.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad.
You might be thinking of like Nina 99 Luft Balloons.
Okay, hey, I'll go with that.
Dirk Commissar, Dexter's Midnight Runner. Come on, Eileen. No? I lost you?
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to get back to
good thought.
Mike Scroggins here.
You're bailing on my music. Scroggins in the 7th. He opened up with 5 strikes, then went 9 spare.
Every ball in the pocket, one ringing 7, one flat 7, and I don't know what's more disturbing, Mike Scroggins' pin carry or the fact that you're a aficionado of air supply.
You haven't seen their storytellers feature on VH1? I know you used to sport some air supply hair. I've seen the pictures, my friend.
All I can say, Rob, is I'm all out of love, my friend.
I'm so lost without you.
Other finishers this week, Mika Koivuniemi and Norm Duke, the great one, Michael Devaney, Joey C., Joe Ciccone.
Buffalo native finishing 18th. Boy, he is dancing on the left side of that gutter. And that's where this cheetah oil pattern makes you play for a majority of these matches.
Yeah, and that may have been a test shot for his next match. You know, he moved a little bit further left and just to get an idea of what his ball's going to do. And he knows that it's going to react from out there, and that's a good sign.
So after 5 opening strikes, Scroggins has 3 spares. Comfortable lead after that wonderful beginning. And here's Jack Jurek. That open frame in the 2nd really started the spiral. He's able to rebound, and then another one in the 5th. There's a good strike from Jack.
And Jack, pick up your ball speed, move in just a little bit on that left lane, throw yourself a double.
It's the lane I was most worried about, too.
This is first televised appearance of the season, and we were talking how wonderful it is to bowl in your hometown, also how challenging it is, especially when you don't bowl up to your expectations.
You know, and you could just see on Jack's forehead the amount of pressure, not only bowling under the bright lights of the Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour, but in front of the home crowd. He's sweating like he's got malaria, and it's just a lot of pressure.
Jurek picks up the spare. Head on over to PBA.com to win a trip for 2 to the H&R Block Tournament of Champions in Las Vegas. The package includes airfare, lodging, Pro-Am entry, and tickets to the TV finals. Click on Win a Trip to the Tournament of Champions button at PBA.com.
It's an awesome prize.
It is a pretty good one.
Tournament of Champions. What a great tournament at Red Rock. Again, there's Mike Scroggins showing you a little bit of experience in going to another bowling ball that matches well in hand. All he's doing right now is prepping for Patrick Allen.
Scroggins leaves 10 pin, but it is all over but the shouting as Scroggins, the 3 seed, will move on, and Jack Jurek steps up to try and pick up the pace here a little bit.
That was enough torture for one day.
Well, I feel for you, Jacko. That's not a fun place to be in front of the home crowd. You having struggles or troubles getting to the pocket, and well, this is the last thing you want to see happen. Jackal in the 180s after this next shot, unless he converts the 410.
That's the fast track finish, speed bowling at its best. It's probably my best type of bowling. Less thinking, more throwing.
And Rob, since his 5-bagger, Mike Scroggins has only got 1 strike since the 5th frame. There you go. That'll make him feel better.
All right, minor victory.
Finish strong, Jack. There you go.
Thank you. you, everybody.
A great week for Jurek. A disappointing finish for him today as he falls 235 to 175 to Mike Scroggins. Up next for the lefty Mike Scroggins, another lefty. 2-seed Patrick Allen, and that man, Parker Bohn III, waiting in the wings.
The Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour on ESPN is brought to you by Bayer. The more you know, the more you trust Bayer. By Prescription Flomax. By CLR. CLR. All kinds of dirty, one kind of clean. And by the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us.
Welcome to the 20th PBA tournament event held here at AMF Thruway Lanes in Cheektowaga, New York. The first was back in 1974, and we have moved on to our 2 versus 3 matchup. The 2-seed, Patrick Allen taking on Mike Scroggins. From here on out, it is all lefty. Your number 1 seed, fellow southpaw Parker Bohn III, warming up in the background. And there is Patrick Allen making his first televised appearance of the season. We saw him yesterday, and I looked at Patrick, I'm like, it's December. Where have you been? And it has not been a normal year for Patrick Allen. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but we'll begin with the 3-seed, Mike Scroggins, who opened up his first match with 5 opening strikes.
Yeah. 5 opening strikes to start his first match. Like you said, Rob, and now he makes a ball change because he struggled to knock all 10 pins down towards the end of that last match against Jack Jurek. Now here he goes to a ball that's a little bit cleaner up front, so that'll retain energy a little bit longer down the lane, finishing high flush. Good looking shot there.
Again, ball reaction has been a problem when he has been under the lights this season. Telling us yesterday, the ball just doesn't seem to pick up on that back end. PA sends them all to the turf.
Boy, you got to ask yourself, where's this guy been, huh, Rob?
2 top 20 finishes this season. This will be his best finish of the season by far. He said, obviously I haven't bowled real well. And he's kind of questioning himself, maybe some of the ball selections he's been making, falling into bad habits due to an injury. Very deliberate is the lefty from Wesley Chapel, Florida. Yeah! And there he is trying to get the crowd on his side. Smart marketing man there.
Patrick Allen in the last year of a 4-year exemption by virtue of winning the World Championships back in 05. He knows there's a lot at stake today.
We asked him, what's your number 1 goal? Stay exempt. He's had that free ride for the last 3 years. And like you said, this is the last of his 4th year on that exemption. Yeah. Nothing but strikes so far in match number 2 on the men's bracket.
Tell you what, if it wasn't for Mike Scroggins' TV record, 15-25 with a 217 average, this guy would truly be considered one of the great players out here. And it just all boils down to what happens to him on television. He just does not win his fair share of tournaments when he makes television.
Here. Yeah. 3 in a row for Scroggins.
Nice ball change. The common theme for this week on the Cheetah Championship oil pattern is that all the players are kind of a low to medium range in terms of revolutions, strength, and power, but they all like to do one thing, and that's throw it hard. Watch this next shot from Patrick Allen. He's not going to leave anything in the bag when it comes to ball speed here.
Whips it in, drops the ball. He's been battling a left knee injury for about 9 months now, and it has clearly affected his game.
About 6 or 7 months ago, I just woke up one day and my knee was just really hurting, and I went to a doctor and he said I had a strained meniscus. I think it's mechanically forced me into some bad habits, how I push the ball out and how I take my step as I push the ball out. And I've just been really trying to work on that the last couple of days with Doug Kent over at his bowling center about an hour and a half from here the last few days, and so far it's paid off.
He wears a very small knee brace on that left knee. A strained patella was what the doctor told him was the issue.
Over amperage on that shot, Rob. He got one a little bit wide. It peeled off of the spot. He gets pretty amped up and excited about that. He comes back here with this shot and goes through the nose. But a good tip for the folks at home, when you're trying to increase ball speed, hold the ball up a little bit higher at the start, get it moving sooner. That'll kick the backswing up a little bit higher. Get those feet moving. That'll help you generate ball speed.
I needed some more ball speed when I rolled this week.
Buddy, I'll give you some personal lessons after the show's over.
There's a lot of tips to be had for my game. Nice solid pickup there by Allen. So he's going strike, 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 spare for Scroggins. Again, he opened up his first match with 5 consecutive strikes. Looking to make it 4 consecutive here in match number 2 of the Stepladder final. The winner to take on Parker Bohn III in the title match.
Stop hitting me, Rob. It's a 4-bagger.
What?
Little bit of loft there, delays the roll. Watch this ball coming off that spot. Bang. 4-pin snaps the 7 off. 4 in a row. Mike Scroggins on a roll.
Boy, he has come out and set the tone in both matches. That lead, though, is a tone changer.
Yeah, and a match changer as well. And that shot there is a little inside a target. He gets a bad break, leaving the 8 with the 6. He'll get the ball, or try to get the ball to the right side of the 6-pin, slide it over into the 8.
Tough shot for a lefty.
Oof.
That hurt. And just when he seemed to be in control of this match with an opening 4 strikes, an open frame in the 5th leaves things wide open for Patrick Allen.
Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Doesn't give you many opportunities. Take advantage of it. Come on.
Again, Patrick Allen, a very deliberate bowler who enjoys the conversations with himself, and he has been mic'd up, so we get to listen in as well. Boom! This is the 4th event in the PBA's 6th event versatility swing, the 5 animal named patterns, and the Earl Anthony pattern that we'll see in the new year in Medford, Oregon. Looking forward to getting to Medford. Some old friends in Medford there.
Absolutely. Shark next week.
In Baltimore. Looking forward to getting to Baltimore.
Got a nice mix of talent throughout the versatility swing.
That was good, too. That was really good.
Left lane starting to cook. Good. Time to make an adjustment for both players. Wow. Wow. See that ball cut right through the heart, leaving the 4-6-10. See if PA can bounce one out and make this.
Good lane to pick the finish on, bro.
Game effort.
Good choice.
Mike Scroggins went open frame in the 5th. Allen returns the favor in the 6th. It's going to be a tight one to the conclusion, and we'll have that conclusion when we return. There's the hardware that will go to the winner of the Cheetah Championship. Mike Scroggins and Patrick Allen fighting to get to the title match versus Parker Bohn III. Randy, if you need me Monday night, starting at 8:30 p.m., I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't call. Because my tail is going to be on the couch watching the Buccaneers and the Panthers in a huge NFC South battle. Top 2 teams in the NFC South on Monday Night Football. 8:30 Eastern tomorrow night. Coverage begins 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown.
That's shaped up to be a real good division.
It has. Saints, Drew Brees, boy, man, what a great offense they have. Mike Scroggins with a great opening offense in this match. 4 straight strikes, rolling now in the 6th off an open frame.
Yeah.
Gets back on the strike train.
And Mike Scroggins, the self-proclaimed Rodney Dangerfield of the tour, right now he's saying, I'll tell you, I get no respect at all. Now he's commanding respect.
I loved him in Back to School.
Rodney or Scroggins? I didn't know Mike Scroggins was in Back to School.
You have to look hard. Speaking of movies, I got a good Patrick Allen movie story for you in a second. Scroggins leaves the 7. We were talking to Patrick Allen yesterday. We made a little movie reference joke. He just kind of looked at us blankly as we take a look at this shot by Scroggins. And it was a quote from one of the all-time greatest cinematic movies of our time. I'm not talking old school, but Animal House. Patrick Allen had never seen the movie Animal House, and I think we all stood up and started yelling at him.
Yeah, I mean, how many Academy Awards did that movie win?
I think 54.
Right. It was. He'd never seen it. Come on. All right, big shot coming up for PA here in the 7th frame, trailing by 9, working on an open frame.
You know why he perhaps hasn't seen the movie Animal House?
No.
Spending too much time in front of the karaoke machine. We'll talk about that in a second. Allen in the 7th, off an open frame in the 6th. Nope. Whoa. Nope. Wow. These lanes are a-changing.
Yeah, well, and this ball just goes sideways when it gets to the back part of the lane, and that's 5 through the middle, or Greek church, or grandma's teeth, depending on what part of the country
I've always liked grandma's teeth. I've been partial to that one. No ball reaction on there, or pin reaction on that one at all.
And that's huge, Rob, because not only does he leave himself in an open frame, but he loses count.
It's getting the wood.
Not so much, Patrick.
It's getting the wood.
So Allen spending some time this week with fellow lefty and his good buddy, reigning Rookie of the Year Rhino Page. Sweet. Belting out some Neil Diamond. Didn't expect that from PA, did you?
No.
Love on the Rocks?
How about a ball change?
Yeah. Good decision, PA.
Yeah, rumor has it he's got a voice that can make a Wolverine purr. Right now trying to get his bowling ball to do the same thing. Now here's the ball change. Watch. A little bit less ball reaction down the lane. That one holds its line. He liked it. He liked what he saw. Now it sets himself up for the 9th and 10th.
Scroggins working on a spare here in the 8th.
Yeah.
He is very close to finishing this one off.
Re-rack.
Well, he's going to take a re-rack here in the 9th, and Mike Scroggins is in the 2 teens right now. The best Patrick Allen can do if he strikes out is shoot 221. Mike Scroggins, on the other hand, can strike out to shoot 244. Again, great balance there at the point of release for the 44-year-old southpaw from Amarillo, and a nice end result.
This is the 17th year on the tour for Mike Scroggins, 8th in the Player of the Year points race right now.
Yeah! Uh-oh. That gets him in the 220s, and now 9 spare 9 for him in the 10th frame. It doesn't matter what Patrick Allen does. So this is just a huge shot, sets up the 10th frame for him. This is 10 back right here.
No matter what Patrick Allen does here in the 9th and 10th, this will be a good week for him as he continues to fine-tune those mechanics and work around his game that has been impeded by that left knee injury. He says, I'm not money now, but it's being addressed and I'm improving.
Wow. A lot more friction in the outside part of the lane than Patrick Allen has probably seen all week.
Scroggins beat Jack Jurek 235-175 in our first match and is real close to dispatching Patrick Allen here.
Oh, spares?
Gets the spare, but it won't be enough. Scroggins is going to move on to take on Parker Bohn III in the championship match.
I think the last time I beat Scroggins was like 2003.
Here's the Flomax Weekly update, focusing on Patrick Allen.
Jesus. Wow.
Well, it's a good building block for Patrick Allen, and this hopefully will help him turn the corner and
Hilarious.
get back to his winning ways.
You can change that much in 3 frames. It's amazing. Wow. That is absolutely amazing.
The bright lights, the heat, the temperature in the building goes up.
Oh, well.
The oil moves around a lot faster, goes away a lot faster. And you've got a little more left-handed traffic than the southpaws are used to seeing.
There's his 7th strike. Too little, too late.
And Mike Scroggins is going to be a handful for Parker Bohn III for one simple fact. He's got the Mo. He's got Mo on his side.
Already defeated Jack Jurek earlier today, and now Patrick Allen will fall to the 3 seed Mike Scroggins. So an all-lefty final on deck.
Like that. Thanks, Buffalo. You guys are great.
200 for PA. Scroggins rolls on.
I wonder if Parker Bohn has been watching the proceedings, because if he has, he should have a pretty good idea that the outside part of the lane is pretty dry right now. So that should factor into his game plan. He gets practice in between this match and the commercial break right before the start of the title match. So
what's that?
Should have a nice blueprint going in.
The all-lefty final is set. Mike Scroggins looking for tour title number 6. Will take on Parker Bohn III, one of the true legends in bowling. Parker Bohn III looking for his 32nd career title, 5th most in PBA history. He is a man on a mission. We welcome you back to Greater Buffalo. We are in Cheektowaga, New York at the AMF Thruway Lanes. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson with you as we get set for our title match, the all-lefty final between Parker Bohn III and Mike Scroggins. You may get to see legend Mark Roth roll next week in Baltimore. He was given a commissioner's exemption for next week's Lumber Liquidators Shark Championship. A couple other big names. We'll be rolling with the current PBA stars, Wayne Webb, Marshall Holman, and Medford, Oregon, Brian Voss and Johnny Petraglia, West Babylon, New York for the Long Island Classic. Upcoming stops, well, next week, really looking forward to getting to Baltimore, Maryland for the Lumber Liquidators Shark Championship. Live coverage here on ESPN 1 week from today at 1 Eastern. Then we're going to take our holiday break and fire things up again in the new year, and not too many other better places to start the new year in for bowling than Reno, Nevada, the National Bowling Stadium, Sunday, January 11th, 1 Eastern. Take a look now at our Geico Championship recap. Randall?
Thank you, Rob. Match number 1 in the men's stepladder finals. Mike Scroggins defeated Jack Jurek by the score of 235 to 175.
Take it all the way.
Mike Scroggins keeps his momentum going in match number 2 as he defeats Patrick Allen by the score of 222 to 200. Mike Scroggins now looks to take down the great one, Parker Bohn III.
Scroggins with 7 strikes in that one, and he has started strong in both matches. He's going to need a strong start to take down that man, Parker Bohn III. We begin our men's final when we return. We welcome you back to Western New York. Our thanks to Mike Kerner, the AMF Western New York District Manager, for his work all this week. And we're set for the championship match of the Cheetah Championship here from AMF Thruway Lanes in Cheektowaga, New York. Take a look at our stepladder bracket. Randy, have you ever wondered what Cheektowaga actually means?
I think it means Wales flipper or
Comes
something like that.
From the Erie Seneca Indian word, which means place of the crabapple tree. You were close.
I was way off.
Yeah, a little bit.
Are you sure that's what it means?
Positive.
Okay.
Mike Scroggins will start us off. And that is not how he started his opening 2 matches this afternoon.
And Parker Bohn III is your number 1 seed. He gets choice of starting lane and where he finishes the match. Parker chose to have Mike Scroggins finish first, which makes Parker finish on this left lane.
You're going to have an open frame. This is the one to do it.
Yeah, that's a good spot because he can strike out and shoot 279. But, you know, there's something that Parker saw in practice, whether it's going to benefit him or hurt Mike. He saw something. He chose to start second, finish the match first, finish it on the left lane.
24th year on the tour, first TV appearance of the season.
You know, I got to be honest, Rob. I think that this gentleman right here is one of the most underrated players the tour has ever seen. He's got 31 titles. He's made almost $3 million in earnings. And I think that Parker, yes, he's in the Hall of Fame. And yes, I know that people, they think he's a good player. I don't think they recognize the fact that he's a great player. And look at him just making me look good.
You know, if he wins today, he passes the great Johnny Petraglia and my partner Randall Peterson on the all-time career earnings list to become number 27.
You mean Scroggins?
Yeah. You mean that guy?
Yeah, you mean Scroggins.
I need to stop doing my notes when I'm overly medicated at night.
Yeah, if Mike Scroggins can get by Parker Bohn III, yeah, he's going to move in front of myself and JP. But when Parker Bohn III gets off to a good start like he has, he puts the pressure on Scroggins immediately. But this guy, you know, Mike Scroggins has been very resilient throughout the entire telecast today, and he's had a nice look. He's thrown a lot of strikes.
Scroggins had 6 strikes in his opening match, 7 in his last win there over Patrick Allen. Has 1 here as he tries to clean this up in the third.
And you heard him say, Rob, that lane is flying. That means it's hooking. It's a lot drier than the right lane, a lot more friction, and something to watch for as this match progresses. The left lane and the amount of hook.
Oh, the form is so pretty.
That's a Parker. That's a bad southpaw mammal right there. He's made a living throwing the flame from first arrow, and his form looks no different today than when he started on tour 24 years ago. I don't think he's put on but maybe 5 pounds in 23 or 4 years out here, and guy's amazing, keeps himself in great shape and just prides himself on making great quality shots. And just as I say that, he whiffs the head pin.
It's the first time we've seen Parker on television this season.
That was close.
He said, hey, I felt like I've been bowling my tail off this season. I've just been losing to guys who end up winning the tournament. No issue with the way I'm throwing it. Maybe a bit of an issue right there, but he's been very happy with this season so far.
Yeah, he's had a really strong season not to make a telecast.
Nice pickup. This will be his 4th top 10 finish this season, and we've only had 7 events, the conclusion of the men's title match in the Cheetah Championship. When we return, Mike Scroggins taking on Parker Bohn III.
The Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour on ESPN is brought to you by Etonic, the official footwear of the PBA. By Denny's, where America's favorite breakfast is now available to go. Real breakfast 24/7. By Geico. 15 minutes could save 15% on your car insurance. Visit geico.com. And by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less.
Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, we are with you till the conclusion of the Cheetah Championship. Mike Scroggins versus Parker Bohn III. Mike Scroggins has been all over the place here in the title match. Open frame, then a strike, and then a spare. He steps up here in the 4th, down early by 27 pins.
Time to right the ship now before Parker Bohn III builds an insurmountable lead.
His second strike of this match.
And right here as he lets go of it, he kind of goes, oh no. But he gets the good result.
So both strikes for Scroggins coming in the right lane. He has now moved to the left lane where he has gone open frame 9 and then 9 spare.
You can see what he's done on the left lane versus the right lane. Interesting strategy, Parker Bohn III, making him finish on the right lane.
That close? Yeah!
There's 3 in a row, and that'll get you right back, or excuse me, 2 in a row, and that'll get you right back into this match in a hurry.
2 in a row, but 3 total for Scroggins. Parker Bohn started with 3 straight here in the title match. Now in the 5th, working on a spare. So fluid, so pretty to watch. His family in attendance. His wife Leslie here. The whole family, they get up in that RV, and the family that travels together for the PBA season stays together.
And I think this season Parker's got a lot to prove. He feels like he was overlooked for Team USA, and there's a lot of folks that feel he got snubbed, and he said, you know what, that's motivation. I'm just going to go out and let my bowling ball do the talking for me.
Another strike. He was actually on the team but did not make the travel roster, if you will, to go to Thailand over the summer for the World Championships, and he said, look, I'll be blunt with you guys. That is my motivating force this season.
Just another great quality shot. All 10 going down, kicking that 7 late. Mike Scroggins looking to add to his double. Wow. Vicious. Ringing 7.
Pretty good shot, too.
The worst possible time for Mike Scroggins.
You heard him mumble. Pretty good shot, too.
Rob, he's in trouble. Parker's got a big lead on him now halfway through, and you just don't expect a player of the caliber of that man to give you any openings. Once he gets you down, he puts his foot in your throat, he just steps on it, and he's not going to let you back up.
Strike number 4 in this title match for Scroggins. He's going to need a lot more, and he's going to need Parker to falter.
Well, you can see just how big that ringing 7 was on the right lane for him. He cuts the match to 7 if he strikes on that right lane. Instead, he still trails by 28.
And this may be the opening that Scroggins was asking for.
And that's the first time all day that I've seen Parker's ball overreact when he gets it into the dry part of the lane. Cuts right through the heart, leaving the 6-7.
We saw a graphic earlier. This is the 26th time that Parker Bohn has been a #1 seed in a stepladder final. He's won 13 times. Trying to make it 14 today. There's his first open frame of this title match, so no clean game for him.
And again, just how large that ringing 7 was for Mike Scroggins in the 6th frame and how it looms over this match now with the open frame from Parker Bohn III. It is now a 14-pin match.
That's a good bounce back ball.
Late 7 going down. Parker Bohn III back to his striking ways.
His 6th strike in the 8 frames we've bowled so far.
Look at that balance. Good tip for the folks at home watching. You see how he stays balanced on his right leg, and he stays there until the ball hits the pins. Good habit to get into.
That 7-pin is a nuisance today for Scroggins.
Yeah, and just on the right lane at the worst time again. As Mike Scroggins could have struck out to shoot 238, and Parker Bohn could have struck out to shoot 242, so he could have kept himself in the match right now. Again, bad carry, holding Mike Scroggins back.
Carry was the issue coming into today for Mike Scroggins when he's been on television. But he's bowled wonderfully coming into this match. A 235 to beat Jack Jurek, a 227 to beat Patrick Allen. Right now, the best he can do is 218, a significant drop here in the title match for Scroggins.
Well, honestly, for Mike Scroggins, it was just getting his ball to hit the pocket at times, you know. And then when it did, his carry was awful. Now, no problems hitting the pocket, bad pin carry. And he's got to finish on the right lane, where the last 2 times out, he's left ringing 7 pins. Right now, he's hoping for a repeat performance from Parker on that right lane of big split open frame.
Parker Bohn has been all strikes outside of a spare in the 4th and that open frame in the 7th. Here he is in the foundation frame 9th.
That's huge there, Rob. That gets him in the 220s. The best Mike Scroggins could shoot is 218. Parker Bohn III needs good count, a spare, and good count he will win for the 32nd time out here on tour.
31 titles, 1 major. There's your mark.
I'll tell you what, Parker, you can be on my team anytime.
It takes a brave person to not include Parker Bohn on a team to represent anything, much less your country.
Well, that's an understatement, sir.
And it doesn't matter if he's lefty or righty or throws with both hands like Jason Belmonte. If you're good, you're good. Wear the red, white, and blue. High five it up with the younger ones. It's going to be a good RV trip for the Bohn family down to Baltimore.
Hey,
why not? Why not?
And not the first time he's won on this pattern. Just a great performance.
He won on this pattern in El Paso, Texas in the 04-05 season. Don't want to diminish the strong afternoon that Mike Scroggins had. This certainly not his best game as Parker Bohn III continues to get congrats. Scroggins finishing second. Still looking for that first win since February this year when he won in Omaha. And the all-lefty final goes to Parker Bohn III. Title number 32, fifth most all-time in Lumber Liquidator PBA Tour history. He trails Mark Roth and Pete Weber, who both have 34. And that is third most in PBA history. So he's just 2 away from tying Roth and Weber. He'll have a chance for title number 33 next week in Baltimore. There's your 2 winners, Carolyn Dorin-Ballard and Parker Bohn III.
Gutsy performance by both players. They did the right thing, made the right moves, and made the quality shots when they had to.
His first win of the year on his first televised appearance. Next week, the Lumber Liquidators Tour heads to Baltimore for the Shark Championship. Baltimore, break out your signs. I know a couple of you have been working on them already. Live coverage Sunday, 1 Eastern on ESPN. That's our final event before the holiday break. The afternoon started with Carolyn Dorin-Ballard winning for the first time this season. And then the lefties took to the stage. Mike Scroggins with the strong showing, but it'd be Parker Bohn III who would take it off. For Raymond Peterson and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.